All right, Banditos, today I've got something for you that's gonna change the way you approach the First Descendant. And no, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it is a plan to make you a 100 millionaire in-game without pulling out your hair. So let's do this.
Tux makes it exciting!
We've all been there. Kuiper's an issue early on. But once you hit the end game, it's all about the gold grind. And then, of course, there's the constant need for catalysts. Ugh, right? It's like you're trapped in this rat race of grinding. But today, I'm gonna show you how to break free of that grind and set yourself up for success. So up front, I gotta say, this isn't some magic formula to make you rich overnight, but a real plan to get you out of the rat race and actually enjoy the game. And with Ultimate Freyna just around the corner, you're gonna wanna be ready. In my Get Ready for Freyna's guide, we talked about needing 9 catalysts to fully level up an Ultimate Descendant. Well, this guide, it's gonna get you there and more. You'll have 20 catalysts in the bank after just 10 days ready to go. If you're only here to know the fastest way to farm gold and don't care about the rest, let's keep it simple. Hit the invasions every day, follow it up with sterile land special operations. Invasions net you a solid 237,339 gold per minute. Easy win, right? Sterile land follows up with 86,366 gold per minute. But if you follow this guide and commit just a few more minutes each day, you'll not only stockpile gold, but you'll have the resources to research 2 catalysts per day. That's 20 catalysts after 10 days. Boom. And here's where it gets good. I've designed this plan to minimize repetition as much as possible because let's be real, no one wants to be stuck doing the same mission 100 times. Now, I'll be honest, avoiding repetition completely is impossible, but we've made sure to keep things buried so you're not losing your sanity. Bottom line, by following this 10-day plan, you'll be in a prime position to level up Ultimate Freyna the minute she drops. And definitely no more staring at your catalyst research menu like it's taunting you. Trust me, future you is gonna thank you for this. So stick around because now I'm gonna give you a more detailed breakdown of each step in this plan.
Let's do this!
As usual, there's going to be a download link down below. The goal of this guide will be to give you 100 million gold and 20 catalysts in 10 days. You're going to be averaging 90 minutes of playtime per day. So there are 6 total activities involved with this farm. And the most important one, whether you like it or not, is going to be invasions. Good news is you can now do this in group mode. So invasions are going to cost you about 3 to 7 minutes of time per run, just depending on the invasion. So invasions rotate on a daily basis. There's 2 invasions, so you're going to want to do all 4 runs. Each run is going to give you 1.25 million in gold for a total of 5 million in gold. And that's the cap. You've now completed your invasions. On average, I've been doing these in about 20 to 21 minutes, regardless of the mission. In order to get 100 million in 10 days, easy math, you only need 10 million per day. So that's 50% of your gold right there. The next big chunk is gonna come from special ops. Like I mentioned earlier, invasions and special ops together make the best gold farm in the game. So the best special ops for gold at the moment is sterile lands. However, coming October 10th, they're revamping all of these special operations to make the others just as enticing. Stay tuned to part 2 of this video where we will add more diversity to the activities by adding a variety of special operations. Again, one of the goals of this guide is to add as much diversity in gameplay as possible so you're not always running the same missions over and over again. So you can do 5 runs of that. Now this averages between 10 and 11 minutes. So you're gonna put in about 52 total minutes into this. Out of that, you're gonna pull out 4.5 million in gold. You're also gonna get 725 shards, give or take, which is important for shaping patterns. Speaking of patterns, you're also going to get those by completing these special operations. So not all of the patterns are going to be guaranteed, and they are low-level patterns, but still very helpful for getting catalyst blueprints, as well as energy activator blueprints. You have a chance of getting 11 of these patterns. For special ops, you're looking for a fast character that has great AoE. Bunny, of course, is way up there at the top, but Freyna has also joined her ranks. I'm not going to spend too much time on special ops because we've been here before, but one quick tip is don't just stand there. I see some people just standing in one place. That means they're not collecting gold, and you need that gold. That's why we're here. So make sure you're constantly running around and picking up all of that gold laying on the floor. And if you see a purple or a gold flag laying on the floor, be sure to grab that because that's 100,000 boosts in gold and sometimes 1 million boosts in gold if you get one of the gold flags, which are rare. Special ops, depending on your team composition, can take longer. I've had sterile land runs that have taken as long as 14 minutes because we didn't have a full team and people were running like Haley in there so that they could level up. So our clear times were slower. This can impact your results, but don't stress out. I've accounted for that and built in a buffer. So if you look down below, I have made this so that you're getting 10.1 million in gold per day. So we're working on averages here that spread across 10 days. The times are guidelines. Don't feel like you have to do an extra run to make up for maybe not getting as much gold in that session or in that step. After 10 days of doing these recommended activities, you're going to be fine. So stay as close to the recommended timeframes as possible. But if you feel like you're constantly missing the mark day after day, you might be missing a component. And here's one of those components. So pro tip, make sure you equip an auxiliary power unit with a Kuiper drop rate modifier, a memory unit with gold drop rate modifier, and a sensor with consumable drop rate modifier.
Let's do this!
Okay, this one's important, but you're not gonna spend much time here, so we're gonna go in and out. Step 3, you're gonna need to go to environment contamination in Echo Swamp. You're gonna spend about 5 minutes there, but what you're looking for are 2 code breakers. Now you might already have code breakers, so you might be tempted to skip this step, but this step is also earning you a decent amount of gold and some decent Kuiper too. Spending 5 minutes in environment contamination is gonna net you around 360,000 in gold, so that's not too shabby. Plus you're starting to mix it up. You're getting yourself out of the invasions, out of special ops, and now into battlefield missions. Why do we need code breakers? Well, what we're gonna do with those code breakers, ideally you will have gotten at least 2 of them. After you complete all of your steps, you're gonna convert those code breakers into mixed energy residue. So you need 8 of these to craft 1 catalyst. That means you need to pull out 16 mixed energy residues per day, which is gonna average you about 2 code breakers. Now RNG is gonna ultimately dictate that depending on what type of encrypted storage you're gonna encounter in the zones. So at the very bottom of the guide, I put my favorite spots. It should literally take you no more than a couple of minutes to open up 2 encrypted vaults. To ensure you're spending less time opening encrypted vaults, set your map to private. That way you know those encrypted vaults are gonna be there. Because if you leave it on public, sometimes somebody will snag it just before you arrive, and then you've missed your opportunity. But there is the rare chance that somebody else is there to open the box with an Enzo also, and that would give you a boost to your drop rate. Speaking of which, if you have an Enzo, I recommend you use him to open up these vaults to get those numbers. The numbers I'm using account for having an Enzo to open up encrypted storage boxes. Now you don't need to have a build, so don't feel like you have to invest in him. Just equip a good gun in case you encounter a baddie. But the vaults I have recommended in the Agna Desert area are really close to outposts, so you shouldn't encounter much of any enemies at all. Next, you're headed to the White Knight Gulch, and you're gonna go all the way down here into the mountaintops region. You're gonna fast travel to this outpost, and then scuttlebutt over to Borderline of Truth. This is a very easy mission. Head there with a bunny, run in circles. You're gonna encounter, I think it's 3 bosses. They're gonna drop advanced neural circuits. You shouldn't have to spend much time here at all. 5-6 minutes, good to go. And you're gonna come out with approximately 38 of these advanced neural circuits on average. In addition to that, it's gonna drop a ton of gear, by the way, but also 182,000 in gold. These are used for catalysts also, and you need 18 per catalyst, 2 catalysts per day, so you're gonna need 36 of these, and that's why you're spending 6 minutes there. Again, don't spend any more time in these locations than you really have to. Step 5, we're now headed back to Echo Swamp. By the way, you can do these in any order. Now we're gonna go to D-Relic, and we're gonna fast travel to this outpost, then head out just around the corner to this strategic outpost. This one's also pretty easy to do. You can use whatever character you want, Bunny, Glay, they're all good here. You're just gonna do a few runs. A full cycle is gonna take you less than 90 seconds. You're gonna get about 95,000 in gold by spending 4 to 5 minutes there. You're also gonna get some gear and a chance at a pattern dropping. Now the boss is the one we're after here, because that boss is gonna drop some macro molecule biogels. You're gonna average about 11 per minute in this location. It's not a guarantee they will drop one, but it's a very high chance. I'm not sure what the chance is, but 3 out of 4 times I'll get a drop. Now the drops are variable too. They'll come as low as 8, and sometimes as high as 21, I think I've seen, which is crazy. So again, just keep an eye on your quantity and get out as soon as you can. Okay, step 6 is a quick little add-on. Again, in and out, you're not gonna be completing the mission, which is the Forgotten and Sterile Land. On top of that, it is essential that you do this on normal mode. So I have tested this on hard mode, and you do get greater drops in hard mode, but your quantity per minute is greater by doing this in normal mode. One of the biggest reasons why is because in hard mode, for one, you got a bunch of things that are gonna hold you back in time before you even get to the boss, but then you have to spawn the boss by defeating a bunch of enemies in his spawn area before he shows his face. On normal mode, he's waiting there for you. That alone cuts out a big chunk of time. So you're gonna eliminate him, grab your drops, and then you're gonna bail. And do it until you have 16 of these. You need 8 per catalyst. That's why you're gonna get 16 and bounce. Do this as fast as you can, back to back. You should be able to do this in less than 5 minutes. The first time you do this on day 1, it might take you longer because you're getting used to it and you might not be that familiar with the mission or the routine. But by day 2, you'll probably be hitting closer to these suggested times. So after you've gotten out of the Forgotten, you have all the resources you need to craft 2 catalysts for that day. You'll eventually figure out in this game that you want to constantly craft catalysts. Even if you're not playing the First Descendant for the day, you want to log in and craft a catalyst and then log back out and come back and do it again because it takes so long to craft. I hope they fix this in the future, but it's what we're dealing with now. So it's your long stick. That's what's going to slow you down when it comes to leveling Ultimate Freyna or your other Descendants. It's going to be how fast you can craft your catalysts or if you have others in the bank, because leveling your Descendants is now a lot more reasonable. But who cares about leveling up your Descendant as fast as you can if you have to stand around waiting for your catalyst for 7.5 hours? I get that you can still play, but I think we've all seen our Descendants don't start to feel really good until they're about 65 to 75% invested in. I also want to let you know I'm working on another guide right now, and I'm planning on getting it out as soon as possible, but this is going to be an invasion guide. We have a variety of invasions and layouts. And now that we're in team mode, I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys some suggestions on the best Descendants to run depending on the mission and the objectives that you're going to face in those missions. Although it's possible to run Bunny on all of them, you can actually have some very interesting synergies in these by bringing in Sharon, Lepic, Freyna, Balbi, and even Biessa. Some of these Descendants really complement the mechanics that you have to take down. And I thought this would also be helpful if you're tired of running Bunny on everything. Make sure you're subscribed and you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on that guide. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know if you got any suggestions. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy. One and only.
Follow me.